G'day everyone, back for my weekly show. I'm going to turn this volume down just a touch, it's a bit hot. So how are we all going? I'm waiting for you to all come into the chat. So this is a bit of a pre-show, so I will put in a timeline so you'll be able to skip ahead if you don't want to watch this part of the pre-show, just sort of waiting for everyone to actually get on board. I notice a number are now starting to pop in. A bit quiet this week though in the rumour side of it, so I've got just a couple of things I'm going to talk to you about, and obviously I'll open it up to questions and everything, but yeah, so just say hi. I'm just putting a hi into the chat just so we can see who's here, so pop in and say hi there. And that way I can know who's here with me. I'd really appreciate a thumbs up too, guys, if I could get one, because that really gets people involved as well. So love you to do that for me. So Carl's here, Joe's here as well. Jonathan is here, Johnny Hall's here, Barry's here as well. Hi, David, he said. Richard's here, Mike's here. Tom's here, Altric's also coming in. So we've got a few coming in. Now, what have we got to drink today with you guys? Is this one. Let's have a look. I've never had it, so I'm going to be drinking this for the first time with you guys. What is it there? Is it Krombacher, I think. It's a German beer, I think. It says it's a product of Germany. So, interesting. I don't know what it's going to taste like, but might be a bit hoppy, but anyway, I'm going to open it up and I'm going to have a drink of this. So let me know if anyone has tried this before, because I certainly haven't. So I'm looking forward to giving it a go. Cheers, everyone. That's not bad. I basically love everything. I love trying all these different beers. Yeah, so that's that one anyway. So if you haven't tried it before, let me know what you think. Lovely. David Johnson's here. Mickey Blue Eyes is here. Oh, you missed your last couple of live videos, but he's back. Rod9569's here as well, and Melvin's here as well. While we're continuing this pre-show, I should probably put up that so we know. Really wanted to thank David Clark, because I'm not sure whether you know or remember a couple of weeks back I actually mentioned how Kerry dropped my Photix receiver into the water when we were doing that waterfall. You know, the one where you saw Kiara standing in front of the waterfall? Well, I was using just my Sony flashes and she dropped this into the water. And it's still working. The other one is still working, but I don't know how long it's actually going to work for. So David Clark, he's from Tasmania. He sent me one because he said he doesn't use them anymore. He's using Godox. So he sent me the actual transmitter and a receiver. So really great. I mean, what a great sort of network we all have. I did ask to pay for it, and he said, no, I'll just send it to you. So they were just sitting there, so he sent me that. So I just wanted to really thank David for that. That way it won't have to come out of Kerry's pay. I mean, he's saying that because she's not here at the moment. But yeah, so anyway, at least now if the other one does fail, I did put it in rice and whatever you meant to do, and it's still working now. But at least if that's fails, I've now got the second one, because I do have 3 flashes and it would have been a pain, because I'm not sure you can even buy these anymore. So anyway, so I can keep that system going. Gul said, great beer, that's my go-to. Oh, what, this one is it? Interesting, it's not bad. Mike said, wow, you drink... I drink everything, Mike. I'm trying everything with you guys. I went out and got a stack of all different beers, and that's why I'm trying it. Stacey's here as well. G'day, Stacey. How you going? Don't forget to sort of plug this photography video school, guys. Please join us there. We're well over 1,000 members now. It's 1,088, I think, have joined us. I've just put a note in to say in here that I'll be live in 15 minutes before. This week's task for everyone, I've put the image of Kiara on there. I've put in the unedited image, and this is the raw file that people can download. And then if you look underneath, everyone's now starting to edit in different ways. And I'm going to choose the winner on Monday. and then they'll actually be put, there's more than that, there's actually heaps more comments at the top. They'll be put as the header. This was the one last week, which was negative space, and I choose a different task each week. So please join us there. We're having a great little sort of network now building, and it's really interactive, very positive. Share anything for your work at all. That's the idea of doing this. You can share your Instagram, you can share your website, you can do everything you like. The only thing you can't do basically is go live on it, because that's basically just for me to do. But apart from that, please join us there. So I just wanted to mention that to you. So I'll put the link down below anyway if you haven't joined that. That's the it's actually called the Photography and Videography School on Facebook. And the reason why I wanted to do this for you guys was because so many sites are on Facebook, but they don't give you really the ability to promote your work. Like, you know, if you were doing YouTube, you can share your YouTube pages on there. You can share anything like video as well. You can do lots of stuff as well. So someone's just said I'm clearly an alcoholic. I love it. I only do it for you guys. I only do this on the live shows, guys. I haven't been drinking all week. This is the first time I've done it. So, and it's only, what is it? It's 11:08, so it's still only early. Oh, I love it. What else we got? Panda's Photographer said, can't stay long, just pop in while I have Wi-Fi. So Stacey's from Boise, Idaho. Richard say, I clearly see you're a beeraholic. Nathy also said hello as well. Now, what I'm going to talk to you about first off is I'm just going to give you a sneak peek of a shoot that I've just done. I did it yesterday, but oh my God, it's going to look amazing when I get this shoot out. It was actually from this place here, and you'll sort of see. It's called Craig's, and it's a wedding and hotel in a city near me called Ballarat, and it has this gorgeous staircase that goes up. And if you look inside, this is the building from the outside. I have taken some shots of that, and I'm going to work on those as well. I'm only going to give you a sort of sneak peek of a couple of images that I've done yesterday, but it was absolutely stunning. They were amazing to me because they actually went. Mike said you're not an alcoholic, but you need a shave. I know this is my rough look. Don't you like this? The 5 o'clock shadow, Mike. They basically offered to let me use the whole place. So it is a gorgeous hotel. I think it was done in 1800, early 1800 or something. It's stunning, and it's been renovated really gorgeously, and they basically opened up and let me use 3 amazing rooms for the day. So I was there for the whole day. I could have stayed as long as I wanted. So I could use these amazing rooms which had lofts that went upstairs. Wait till you see the video and everything. It had all that. I could go anywhere through the whole hotel. There was these sort of grand design, grand rooms that I could walk into. It was just absolutely amazing. I should have put that down when this started actually too. I'll do the next one. I've got to remember to press the timeline. And so I shot everywhere through this, and I basically took flash units. I also worked with a local florist, so I had a florist involved, and I also had another company which does jewellery and dresses. I had them involved as well. And obviously I use Kiara for the day as well, so you're going to see those. But I'm going to show you a couple of images because I'm just... Wait till you see them. So I'm going to bring them up. Let me have a look over here. Now, this is the first one that I shot coming down this staircase. So you can see here where Kiara is holding the flowers. So I'm going to promote the florist. She's got a headpiece on, obviously. I'm only showing a couple of sneak peeks yet. These haven't been even posted yet on social media. I'll probably post them tomorrow. But you can see this was quite challenging. This was actually really quite a challenging shot because I had to keep the detail in the window at the back, so the ambient exposure for me was incredibly important. And I also wanted to keep the exposure on those lights that you can see to Kiara there on the left and the right hand side. So I really had to expose for the ambient, and this was shot with a 16-35 f4 lens, and I shot this at 5.6, and it was 1/250th of a second, and it was ISO 1250. I then filled this in with the Preshow B1 with that 2-foot octa that I showed you last week. But how gorgeously stunning does this, they're going to love this when I send them these images for this business. Kiara looks gorgeous just walking down that staircase. Let me know what you think, but you'll see this fully when I start to post them onto Facebook and everything, and Instagram in the coming days. I've got so much that I can actually post here. This even though this is her Deb dress that she actually wore here. She wore this the other day when she did her Deb, which is like a formal in the US, I suppose you could say. It is a wedding dress though, that you can wear them as a Deb dress or a wedding dress. But how stunning does she look in that image? I do shoot underexposed Altric. Yes, I always shoot underexposed and then bring things back. The ambient though here was pretty important. So, you know, it is very important to get it reasonably close. And then, like I said, I've had to add fill. Now, if I didn't use that octa that I told you about with that grid on it, I would have lit up the whole of this stairwell, and everything else would have been blown away. And that's the secret of how I've got this gorgeous look on this staircase without having shadows and everything else all over the place, is because of that direction that I can have with that Preshow B1. And like I said, I'm just so happy with how it looks. You know, it's going to be really quite stunning. I'll show you the flowers here are beautiful as well that have been put in there. I've still got to do some noise reduction on this yet, because like I said, this is the pre-one. But, I mean, honestly, it's just gorgeous. Wearing your own black tops. Here I am, Sam. The next image I'll show you is this one. Check this out. Again, I need to make this a bit smaller so you can see it. I saw this stunning... I've just got to get that thing off there so you can see the whole image. I saw this stunning window that was down the end of one of the hallways, and I could immediately sort of see what I wanted to do here. And I wanted to basically have Kiara sitting in this gorgeous seat. The idea too is to sort of show this jewellery too that's sort of here as well. But I really wanted to show Kiara sitting on this seat and have natural light coming in through the window, because they were that gorgeous colour that's sitting in the back. And you're not going to see this anything like what I can see it in the screen, but I'm just so happy with how this looks. Again, she's got some different flowers in her hair here as well. Yeah, the lead glass is just stunning, Sam. I adored that, and I walked in there and just saw that lead light at the end of the hall and just went, oh no, you know, I just couldn't wait to actually get to it. I mean, it's just absolutely, you know, amazing. So yeah, I was so happy with that. And basically what I've done is my assistant is standing. I'll just show you over here. Where are we? I'm just going to bring the drawing thing up. Desk scribble. Here we go. So I've got an ice light that's sitting in here, and this again is where I'm using the ice lights. Why won't they let me draw? Oh, hang on, don't remind me. There we go. Basically, I've got an ice light that's sitting in here, just inside. So this is a doorway actually sitting through here, and I've got an ice light that's sitting in there that's giving me that lovely fill that's coming on Kiara to fill into that area. And the great part is with these is that I've used the actual this, and I'll just take this off for a second just so I can show you. As you know, I adore these ice lights. Now, to match that real ambient look that was coming into that room, I used a bit of diffusion paper, which basically just sits on like that. And I use a couple of elastic bands to hold it. But I use this on there, and I'll show you how this works. Because if you do ever get ice lights, make sure you purchase these barn doors. Alright, because the beauty is now that I can really, and I'll show you on Susie at the back though, I'll give you a look at how these work, but basically it really controls the lighting, and I can make sure that I get no spill coming out at all. And I'll show you on Susie just to sort of give you an idea. So I'll turn it on. Now, I'll have to yell, but basically if you're looking at these, I can go from sort of wide open and then I can close it right down so I've got maximum control over. I've just got to make sure I don't. I think the batteries have just died actually. Oh no, there we go. Yeah, I don't want to get too close. So you can see how I can manipulate these almost like a light strip. So, you know, I can really control exactly where I want that spill to go. So that's basically what I did to get that gorgeous fill on Kiara that you can see here, so that it hasn't gone anywhere else other than on her where I wanted it to go. So that's how you get that type of image. So if you're wondering how I got that when it's posted later on, that's exactly how I got that. But yeah, I mean, let me know what you think. Wait till you see these images posted. They're just stunning. I'm so happy with them. The actual hotel is going to adore these images. They're going to go off when they see them. So cheers. All right, so let's go on to the first exercise. So what is it? 1720. I'm going to say 1720. So anyway, talk about the in the chat, and I'll come back to you. We can talk about those a little bit later if you like. So now let's go to latest news. And I'm going to go over to here and open up Safari. Let me quit that. All right, so let's go to the latest news, because I noticed that this was up this morning. I'm just going to make this a bit bigger for you all. I noticed that the a7iii had a firmware update this morning. So that I tried to update it, and it's typical with the Sony on Mac. I'm having issues, so I can't update it. So let me know whether anyone else has updated it successfully on the Mac. I haven't been able to. Just let me grab a tissue for a second. Yeah, I haven't been able to. I haven't been able to update it. I've tried about 4 different machines here, because I've got a few Macs here. So I've tried a few different machines, but it just doesn't seem to upgrade. So I might have to try and grab a Windows machine. I'm not sure why. The other ones have always worked. My A9 was upgraded recently, and that had no issues, but the a7iii for some reason hasn't worked. So let me know if anyone has been able to get that working on the Mac side of things. I'm running the latest version of the Mac. What am I running? I'm running, I think it's 10.13.4, so it's High Sierra. And I did read somewhere they're saying it's not supported, so that may be the reason why I'm not actually able to get it to work. And I'm just getting a few comments on here about the ice light. Yeah, and I'm going to come back and talk to you about that soon, guys, because there's not many news stories to talk to you about. But the thing that they're saying that this resolves, it resolves the blinking pixels. I haven't had any of those blinking pixels personally, and I've been doing a lot of video. So perhaps it has been a specific thing. Yeah, and someone's just said they're running Windows on their Mac, and I may have to do that, Altric, to get it to work. But they're saying it fixes those blinking pixels, and they're also saying that it resolves an issue where the touch panel could occasionally become unresponsive, and I haven't seen that either. And it also says it improves the overall stability of the camera, so that could mean anything at this stage. So it's going to be interesting to see what they've actually changed in that. So like I said, if anyone has updated, let me know if you've seen any difference on with the camera so far, because I'd love to talk about that in this. I just tried a few times. I've been trying for about an hour before this actual talk came on. That's why I'm a fraction later today. And I couldn't get it to work on the Mac. So I'm probably may have to put Windows on there or something, or go and get a friend that's got a Windows machine or something like that to get it actually to update. But it is available now if you want to upgrade your a7 III. So that's now available. The next story that we want to look at, which is 2034. I want to talk to you about this lens because I'm curious to know if anyone has used it. Because as you know, I'm in the market for a wide-angle fast lens, and I've been looking at this one, the Rokinon 14mm f2.8. I know there's a few other options, and in the chat too, if you want to sort of recommend some that you think might be really good around this sort of focal length. But I found this one on DP Review, and they've got some samples basically of this lens being used, and I wanted to talk to you about that, to see if anyone has been using this, to let me know how it actually is and how it performs on the Sony cameras. I know there's quite a few out there. This is an auto-focusing lens, and I think it's around about $900 in Australia, I believe. But I'm also debating too whether to get a manual focus lens, and because being wide open, they're very easy to focus because basically everything's in focus anyway. So I'm also in the market too. I may go down the track of getting a manual focus lens, and there's also the Batis, the 18 I think it is as well, which I'm curious about. But I probably want something that's a bit wider, sort of that 12 to 14mm focal range. So let me know in the chat anyway, because I'd be really curious to know what you guys think about this one, if you've used it, or another one that you'd recommend that I have a look at for a wide angle fast prime. The next thing I wanted to talk to you about was this. Let me just move this down, which is 27. Was this striping fix. There's now a fix on, this guy has actually made a fix. I think what was his name? His name is actually Professor Hank Dietz, I think is his name. And he's created this fix that gets rid of striping. Now, I don't know whether you're going to be able to see this, but there's others I've seen where the striping comes through the back in here, and also if you look at close up this striping that runs through the face of this girl. I haven't seen it, to be honest, in my cameras. They're actually saying that it's certain lenses are worse, and they're actually saying in here that they believe that the FE 1.8 is one of the main culprits of showing this issue, which if you look down here, it's striping running through this area, through the hair. Now, I'm not sure whether YouTube is actually going to be able to show this with its compression, because half the time the images I show don't look anything like what I see on my computer. But there is a fix, and basically, what you can do here, and I'll put these links down below so you can see them. That's the JPEG RAW. This is the JPEG corrected, and it gets rid of those lines that you're sort of seeing coming through. So let me know if any of you have had this issue. I haven't. Whether it doesn't work like that with the Batis, because they're saying it's the Sony 85, it's quite pronounced. And they're also saying there's been reports, I think, that it's with the 100 to 400. It's been there as well. But it's definitely more if you're shooting with this background issue. I think the stripes running through here, but sometimes I can't see them, to be honest. And I think, like I said, people looking at them, I'd never pick it. And I'm certainly that one of my clients would never pick some of these things as being an issue. But they're saying it's definitely an issue with all the cameras that are using basically your PDAF. But the a7 R2 doesn't have the problem. I know it occurs with the a7 R2, but it's not there with the a7 III or the a7 II. But it's there with the a7 R2, the a7 III, the a9, and it is also there with the RV100 as well. So it seems to be, and it says there, most cameras with masked pixels on the sensor phase detect AF. And it's not just limited to Sony either, so this isn't just a Sony thing. But this guy has got a fix, so you can download it. You can actually click onto here and you can actually get that fix. I haven't used it because, to be honest, I haven't seen it in anything I've shot yet. But if you are suffering from that Sony striping issue, there is now a fix that you can get. Cheers, guys. What else? So let's go to the next one, which is 2536. And then we'll go to questions. So the last thing I'm going to do, like I said, it's a very quiet week this week, really quiet. This is a comparison of, let me just move my ugly head from in here. There we go. This is a comparison of the Sigma lenses against the Sony lenses. So I just thought it might be interesting for you to have a look to see how much different the Sigma lenses are, in case if you were thinking about purchasing one and size was an issue with the way that you work. You can see in every case on these that the Sigma lenses are drastically larger than the Sony lenses. Like I said, my pick out of these three probably would be this the Sony 85 1.8. That's what I would buy if I was buying any of the 85s there. Others in the chat, obviously, some of you have got the G Master and adore it. I like the lightweight of the Sony, but having said that, there are Sigma lenses I'm seriously considering getting, like the 135 I'm seriously considering having a look at when they're released. The other one that I'm actually would like to have a look at is the 105, just to see what that bokeh is like at that 1.4 aperture. So I may even look at that as well. But these are the 85 lenses that you're looking at here. If we scroll down, you can see now that they're the 35s. Sigma's on the left, the Sony is in the middle, and then you've got the Sony 35 2.8 there. I love that lens for street work. It's great because it's just so small. It's also fantastic to stick on a gimbal as well. So the Sigma 35 and the Sony 35 are pretty similar, and I use the Sony 35 all the time. So that Sigma lens wouldn't bother me, I don't think, looking at that, because it's a very similar size to what I'm used to carrying around with that. The 50mm, the Sigma is quite a bit bigger. I love the 55. That now is turning out to be my favorite lens for gimbal particularly. I adore that lens on the a7iii or the A9 and using it on a gimbal. It's stunning, and I really am looking forward to using that more and more and more. I've just done a wedding with it that I went through the other day with you, and I used it extensively in the shoot yesterday with Kiara as well. Stunning lens, and it's also great for portraiture. And look at the size difference. That's really like a minimalistic lens, beautiful and sharp and everything as well. These two will be great lenses, don't get me wrong, but I'm just sort of showing you the size difference in them. Not much difference between the Sigma 50 though and the 50 Sony FE version as well, so they're fairly close. Did they mention any others? No, they don't. That's basically all that they're sort of talking about. So yeah, I just wanted to sort of show you that difference. Whether eventually they'll redesign these and they'll get rid of that flange somehow and design it deliberately to do with the well, deliberately made for the Sony cameras. But to be honest, I'm not worried about really that. There are a couple that I'd use, and I'll probably will only grab them out occasionally, so it's not going to be a lens that I'm going to be using all the time. But let me know too whether something that worries you, those lens sizes that we've actually just seen. So we're 2918 for questions. So we're going to now open up to questions. Like I said, there's very little news and rumours at the moment. It's very quiet. So let me come back over questions with you guys. So fire away any questions, guys. I'm going to come back over these earlier ones that I've missed. So early on, everyone's just saying hi. In Sergio Flores says, quick question, what versatile setup would you get for around 2,500? I do photo and video work for a lot of brands, artists, traveling most of the time. I've been using the a7iii and the Sigma 17 to 70. Well, are you from the US? If you are, you can get the a7 III for around about $2,000, and then you could try and source a reasonable lens with the money that you've got remaining. I probably would try, if you can, to buy the a7 III. And then even if you grab the, say, to start with, if you can only have one lens, say one of the 35 2.8s would be a reasonable lens as well. I'm not sure, because it's hard for me all the time because of US prices. You may also be able to just fit in the Sony 55 in there if you didn't want to go for the 35. But that's probably what I would recommend as a starting out camera setup. Rick said it's raining in Brooklyn. Beautiful day here today, Rick. Mike said, amazing picture on the staircase. I know, I'm so happy with those images, Mike. I mean, I really am. I'll just bring it back up so you can see it again in case if you're coming later. Mike's talking about this one. I really am just... I can't wait to edit it. It's just stunning. And I just walked into this hotel, and immediately you walk in and you see that staircase that's sitting there. Wait till you see the lights that are above it. It is stunning, this hotel, stunningly gorgeous. I have filmed it, so you'll see this in video as well. And Kiara not only dressed in this bridal gown, she also dressed in other, like, more formal gear. So she, you know, like that dress, that beautiful dress she wore in Melbourne with the slit down the side, she wore that. So she was in other dresses that you're going to see as well. But you know, it's just a stunning location, and yeah, I'm really proud of how I exposed that, because I noticed when I saw the their image on that they'd use, I don't know who the photographer is there. It's nice work, but I don't. That's not my style. I don't like this type of look, which is really bright and well, it's just not me. If you compare the different style of, say, this, like how that's captured, to how I've captured the image, we're two total different styles. I'm not saying the other one was bad. It's lovely. It's just that it's not my style. I'm more of a dark type look, and I love that moody atmosphere that that is there, as compared to which a lot of other photographers do, like these nice and airy and very sort of open and bright type looks. So, you know, everyone sees different things, whereas I typically, the second I saw this, I knew immediately how I was going to shoot it. Dark, moody, you know, sort of contrasty with the shadows, and I just love that feel, and that's perfectly how I sort of work. Even the second one, you can sort of see there that, you know, when we look at that one, that again, it's still very dark and moody. I've just got to come back to this so I can move it. It's still really dark and moody if you look at that one. Again, but it's just the way I shoot. I love that feel that you get like that, and it's always the way that I'm drawn to, and that's my style. Like I said, you'll all develop what your style is, but it just takes time. But my style definitely is that real dark and moody, you know, type look that is perfectly sort of fitting. And I you know, the second I saw that, I knew exactly what I was going to do with it. But yeah, but thanks, Mike. Yeah, I really love it, actually, to be honest. What else have we got? How much under? It was just a little bit under Altric. Not much, but just a bit, probably a stop. Sam said, howdy, nice to see you back wearing your own tops. So he's not talking about, she's talking about my shirt. Oh, it's not, I'm not sure whether it's, Sam might be, it's probably a male. Love the, yeah, LED light glass, it's beautiful, Sam, I agree. Rui, hello everyone. That's just saying hello to everyone. If you can, guys, too, please give me a thumbs up just so it gets shared around. Carl said, just get a cheap Windows laptop as a backup. Yeah, it's a problem with Sony. I don't know why they're not working with these latest versions of the OS to upgrade the firmware on the cameras. It's a pain. CL Photography said, my Mac's work. So did you upgrade? Have you got the a7 III and you upgraded it? I don't know why it doesn't work then. Melvin said, I still haven't been able to update my A9 yet. And that's the thing. It's the Mac Pros tend to be an issue, Melvin. I know it's driving me nuts. Mike said, my a7 III update worked perfectly on Windows. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to try it on Windows, Mike, to get it to go. Sam said, my a7 III is being delivered tomorrow in the UK. Fantastic. Congratulations, Sam. You're going to love it. Brad said, you have to run a helper install. I did that anyway. I actually did everything they asked, Brad. It still didn't work. Mike said, actually, I've had that touch panel problem a few times. Strangely, it happened only in portrait mode. Oh, okay. That's interesting. CL Photography said, I updated mine on Mac Sierra and it worked fine. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? So it tends to be temperamental. I've tried it on... No, it's two computers I tried it on. So I've tried it on my Mac Pro and also a MacBook Pro, and it wouldn't work on either of them. It does your head in. Peter Kent said, oh no, he's running a virtual machine. Mike said, the Sammy 2.8 14 isn't, oh okay, thank you for that. Isn't very good. It's very soft in the corners. Better to get the 2.5 14. Oh, okay, thank you for that, Mike. Altric said, I'm running VMware on the Fusion. Yep. Anthony said, I've not heard the best stories about the 14mm AF, but they seem to have re-released it or something. Wonder if they fixed it. Mike said, the Sammy XP 2.415 is also very good, but much more expensive. Okay. I'm not in any hurry anyway, Mike. It's just things I'm looking at. So, you know, I'm still sort of waiting, but yeah, there might be ones that I look out to see what I get. Mike said, I've had striping a few times with the Sigma 51.4 Art with flash and backlight. The fix works. Oh, so you've used the fix, have you, Mike, and it works well, does it? Well, that's good to know. I haven't had it yet at all, so I can't comment on it. That's why I haven't downloaded it yet. Altric said, yes, but I can update my A9 through Apple. I have to update my Godoc stuff on Windows. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It's all over the place. What's going on? Robert's here from Alabama. Hi, Robert. Mike said, only the 85 Art is a monster. The others are not made. Yeah, it is. It's the 85, isn't it, Mike? The 85 Sigma is really big for some reason. And I don't know why they've made it that much bigger. I have used that. I used to use that though when I had Nikon and I loved it. So I have used that before. Sam said, does the 35 Zeiss compare to the... No, the 55 is... Oh, now you're talking about the 1.4, Sam, or you're talking about the 2.8? I think the 55 is definitely sharper than both of those lenses though, but I'm really happy with the 35 as well. But, you know, look, don't even underestimate the 16 to 35 f. That's the 16 to 35 f4. There's nothing wrong with that lens. Remember, when people are telling you you've got to get 2.8 lenses, you don't. You do not have to get 2.8 lenses. That's f4. It's actually shot at f5.6 because I did want to show some of that detail in the background. And the high ISO in these cameras lets you have that ability to do that too. So... but yeah, the 55 is definitely sharper if you're after a sharp lens. It's definitely sharper than the 35. Richard said the next lens I'm going to buy is the 55. Yeah, and I'm using that more and more. I've always used it, Richard, but I'm now using it more and more, particularly on the gimbal, and I really love using it on Chiara in that forest for the photography. It really is a stunning lens. I'm going to try and use it more myself. What else have we got? KM93 said, hello from New York. Just got the a7 III yesterday, updating the firmware now. What else have we got? Kelly Law said, Osler is the best. Oh, thank you, Kelly. Just got my a7 III yesterday. Picked up the FE 55 1.8. You're going to love it for video. What should I get for a video interview lens? Well, I've been using that 55, but... I tend to, if I'm using it on video, I don't use the gimbal. I'm using the 35 1.4. That's often what I'm using, or I'll use the 35 2.8, Kelly. So I'm using those when I'm doing an interview just to get more, you know, like head and shoulder so I don't have to be so far back. anything I'm doing on the gimbal now, I'm trying to use the 55 because it works so well and it focuses so quickly. So that's the way that I'm using with those lenses at the moment. Altric says he has the Rokinon AF 1.4 and he loves it. Altric says, what was your setting for that image? Which image, Altric? That one has had... I'm just going to come back here and I'll tell you what the settings were. The settings on this image, I'll just reduce it down so you can see them. Settings on that one are... Oh, I've got to change it. There you go. So it's 1/25 of a second, f5.6, ISO 1250, and it's 19mm I've shot it at, with this 16 to 35 f4ZA. So that gives you the exposure settings that I've set. I'll take you through this shoot eventually. I'll do another one of the walkthroughs to take you through the whole shoot because it really is stunning, and there's so many more images I want to show you and discuss how I got them because it was quite challenging. But yeah, so that's the settings. The other one that I had here was 1/1250th of a second at f5.6, ISO 1250, and it's at 85mm with the 85 1.8. I had to use 1250 there because I wanted to maintain didn't want to blow out the highlights in the background. I probably could have dropped the ISO a little bit and then drop the shutter speed a bit, but it's just a balance, and I'm quite comfortable working at those ISOs anyway. So that's the reason why the shutter speed is so high on that, though, is due to the fact that I wanted to make sure I didn't clip any of those highlights in that background. And then I've used the ice light obviously to fill in Chiara as fill through that door that you're seeing on the right hand side of the image. So that's how that one's done. And like I said, I can't overestimate how much window light those ice lights are. They're stunning, and I did put the link for that in my previous video if you want to get them through Amazon. I'm not sponsored by them, guys, so yeah, I just get a kickback if you buy them through Amazon, but I'm certainly not sponsored by them. But yeah, it's stunning. I can't wait to share this work because it's just beautiful. KMS, CM Photography said, yeah, it's my Mac is an iMac, not my laptop. Yeah, so perhaps that's why it works, because it's an iMac. I don't know. KMS943 said, I was having trouble updating on Sierra 10.13, but downloaded and ran the driver loader, and then it went fine. Yeah, I downloaded that driver. I've done it 3 times. I've done it also on the other laptop, and it still doesn't work. I've got no idea why it won't work. It's doing my head in. But I don't know. Perhaps I'll have to just buy Windows and put a VM on this machine or something. What else? JP, I love your pics. 100% better than the brochure pics. Yeah, thanks. I mean, it'd be interesting to sort of see what they say about them. But they may think they're too moody. I don't know. But I mean, I certainly love them, and it certainly is the way that I shoot. You know, and I think I'm very, very happy with how that they've been processed. Wait till you see some of the others when Chiara's in other dresses and things, and pictures of her wearing the flowers and stuff that I've done close-ups, and it's just amazing. Stay tuned for that. That'll be up in the coming days. I will post some of these on Facebook, probably might be tonight or tomorrow. You'll see these images first, but then there'll be stacks more that I'll actually start to share in the coming days. So, yeah. So are there any last questions, guys, before we finish for the day? It's just about coffee time for me. I've been out this morning. I went out actually this morning because I wanted to go back to that location and shoot the building, because I wanted to shoot yesterday when we actually got there. I wanted to take a shot of that to put into the video that I'm going to create. So I went back later on and shot this morning. So I went out I left at 6 o'clock this morning because I wanted to get there before sun came up, and it's about a 45-minute drive. So I went out really early this morning, and I've taken shots of that too, so I can also have that at the beginning of the video. I couldn't do that yesterday because there were all cars parked out the front, so I wanted to get there while it was early enough to do that. So I did get out pretty early this morning to do that. someone also said, KSM said, I had to restart the computer. Yeah, I tried that too. Didn't work. I've tried everything. It's just not going to happen, I don't think, with that camera. It's the only one that's failed me. With the A9, it took me a few attempts, but it looks like the a7 III is just not going to work. So, I don't know. All right, guys. Well, if you can, please give me a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate that. And I'll see you all again soon for the next video in the coming days. I might even post something up tomorrow or something, or pop on for a chat. And I'll catch you all again. If I don't see you, have a great weekend, guys. So, bye for now.